for a few good sons, like third-generation speedster Kyle Petty, the pole sitter. The king is gone, but he's not forgotten. Mixed with the excitement is a sense of nostalgia. Last year, this sport bade farewell to its king, Richard Petty. But guess who's on the pole? Yep, his son, Kyle Petty. And alongside Kyle is Dale Jarrett. Does that name sound familiar? It should. His dad is my CBS broadcast colleague, Ned. And earlier this morning, two proud fathers walked the backstretch and looked back in wonderment.
Richard, it's Daytona 500, and you're not in the field.
No, I'm not starting the race car, but I'm starting the field, so that's a little bit different.
You know, it hasn't been that long ago that our kids were playing on the beach, staying over at the Royal Beach Motel, and here they are on the front row for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I don't know, that means they're getting older, we're getting old, Ned, but, you know, it makes us feel real good. I think that, you know, we come over here and raced years ago, and then, you know, our kids, like you said, played around. Now they're out here racing with each other, so I know I'm real proud of the whole thing.
Can you get as much of a thrill out of Kyle winning as you did when you won?
Probably more of a thrill. You know, I expected myself to win and put the pressure on myself to win, but I think when your son does what you want to do and what you want him to do, I think that that's probably the biggest thrill.
Well, now I can imagine those little boys when they were playing out here in the sand in the infield that they were saying, my daddy's faster than your daddy. Well, here we are now, and your son's faster than mine, at least in qualified.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think we're going to look at it from that standpoint. We're going to look at it and say, hey, guys, y'all go out and do the best you can. Be careful with the thing and beat each other. So I think that's the way we're looking at it.
All right, good luck to your son.
Right. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Mike Joy at the front of the Daytona 500 field. Sons of famous fathers. Richard Petty, who waved the green flag today, follows his dad to victory lane in the Daytona 500. Davey Allison's father, Bobby, won it. Davey did too. And now, how about it, pole sitter Kyle Petty?
I'd like to win it. You know, since my grandfather won the first race here at the big track, and my father's had so much success here, and Petty Enterprise in general has, I'd like to add my name to that list, too.
You a little nervous?
I tell you what, surprisingly, I'm not as nervous now for the 500 as I am for the qualifying races. The qualifying races always give me butterflies, but, you know, to come out and be on the pole here is a big honor and a big accomplishment for this team. And we're a little uptight, but hopefully after they drop the green flag, we'll be all right.
Good luck today.
We have a race.
I think the key to see is how racy do they want to be early.
Three wide in the backstretch. 21-year-old Jeff Gordon down to the inside, going for the lead at turn 3.
There's Bill Elliott right in behind him. Earlier in the week, they told Jeff Gordon to lay back and learn, but here he comes.
And Kyle Petty didn't want any of that three-abreast racing. He's back there at three-abreast, but he backed off going into that turn. Who's going to lead this first lap?
Down the line, lap 1. Gordon from Pittsburgh, Indiana. The kid that blew him away on Thursday comes back and leads the first lap.
Here's Jeff Gordon trying to make a move down on the inside going into turn 1 as we watch Ricky Rudd and Kyle Petty in that group passing back there.
Remember Kyle in 9th. Here's Gordon. A couple of Fords side by side.
Well, let's see. Is he going to get help, or is Jeff Bodine, Dale Jarrett going up on the outside? And here comes Kyle Petty. He wants to make it 3 abreast.
13th, just 2 laps ago, going back for the lead. Kyle on the bottom. Talk about some power. Kyle Petty puts it down.
Boy,
here he comes.
He had some momentum coming off of turn 2 and just drove her right down to the inside and right up there battling for the lead all the way from 6th place, Neil.
Very impressive. Here's going to be the key. All week long, we haven't seen anyone be able to drive up there and take the lead away from Earnhardt. Let's see if they can do it today.
Kyle Petty trying to maintain a family tradition. Grandfather won the first one. Dad won this race 7 times. Now Kyle trying to win it for the first And he's already equaled his father's mark, having won the pole. His father only won the Daytona pole once, back in '66, when he won the race.
Ned, this looks like a heat race on a Friday or Saturday night on a little half-mile track. These guys are racing early.
Here comes the rookie, Gordon back for second.
He just pushed Kyle Petty right on out into the lead around Dale Earnhardt.
Ricky Rudd looking strong in fourth. This has never been his race. The Chesapeake, Virginia driver, and that number 5 on the bottom, working under Earnhardt now. Interval, first to 17th. First to 17th, 1 and 1/10 seconds.
Now Thursday here in the qualifying races, the high grooves seem to be the place to do the passing. They've adjusted their cars a lot since then. Different temperature today, and it looks like the inside is working at least early in the race.
Ricky Rudd doing the inside hustle. Here he comes after Earnhardt. Here's your leader, Kyle Petty. Jeff Gordon, a name you're going to hear a lot about for years to come. From Pittsburgh, Indiana, originally out of California. They moved to Indiana when he was just 13. Richard Petty looking on at number 44. Mixed emotions for him today. He's got Rick Wilson out in the race. And he's got Kyle Petty fighting to win this race, his son.
Richard Petty, he's been saying he's retiring. Today is the first day that he's officially retired. He's not in that car anymore.
I started to say about this Gordon. They moved over to the Indiana area when he was 13 so he could get into sprint car racing. They wouldn't allow it out in California. He was the national champion. And let's take a look at some telemetry for a moment.
Jeff Bodine's car, you can see his speed getting up to 191 miles an hour down the backstretch in the draft. Those RPMs going up about 6,900.
Running in 7th spot. Slipping back a little there.
Well, there's a lot of close, tight racing here now. See, Earnhardt has finally gotten back down on the inside. That's where he likes to run. And they had him pushed up on the outside for a while. And he has moved back to the inside now.
4 abreast right through the triangle behind him. We saw 4 cars wide. These guys are making a lot of shuffling early in this race.
Rudd looking very strong up front.
Gordon looking for the lead and finding it. Rudd coming to second.
3 abreast right behind Rudd.
Sterling Marlin in the middle. Schrader, the 25, on the bottom. This at 190 miles an hour as you watch it live. The Great American Race. This is the battle for the lead at halfway. Five laps away this time by. Kyle Petty ducks to the inside. Amazing, that car. Remember, it's set on the pole when the day started. Earnhardt's right beside him. Dale Jarrett's moving back into it another time. He's in 10th. Brett Bodine is up to 9th. And Brett Bodine is just clawing his way through this field. He is flying down to the bottom and picking up positions now.
Yeah, the car is really working down on the inside.
He's up to 7th. And he's still closing ground. Green and white, number 26. The Kenny Bernstein car on the bottom of the racetrack. Flying through traffic. Pulls up beside Hillen. Looks like Bodine at halfway wants to be up among the leaders.
Ned, I saw you look over at me when Kyle Petty made that pass. Usually you have to creep up there and creep on by. Kyle Petty drove by Earnhardt like he was tied to a tree when he took the lead just a minute ago.
That car also is working well down on the inside, as is Brett Bodine's car. He just has a good setup for the bottom side of the racetrack right now on those worn tires, and it's working really good for him. You know, a lot of times we have a big halfway bonus, and maybe that's why he decided to get up there. We're coming close to the halfway point of this race.
Halfway right there, there was a race to the line. It was hard to tell who led. It looked like maybe Earnhardt and Kyle Petty was almost a draw. That was the halfway mark.
Think you want to split the money? Pit stops coming up. Front of the field coming in. Earnhardt coming in. And everyone's going to make it in this time. Let's see who's going to grab the lead as they come by. I think it'll be Kenny Wallace going back out in front.
No, he went left down a little bit ago, so it couldn't be him.
28 will take it. Davey Allison will be the leader now. We have some 20 cars on pit road.
Is that the first time Allison has led today? He'll get 5 bonus points.
Mike Joy.
Dale Earnhardt getting right side tires. This will be a 4-tire stop. Just past him, Mark Martin is getting also 4 tires. Right behind, Jeff Gordon has brought his car into the pits. Sideways pit entry here, and he will get just right side tires. Second can of gas up and going in. little early getting that first can out. They may not get quite a full load of fuel for Gordon here. A little trouble pulling the fender away on the right front. He ran over a little piece of debris there with that spoiler. They've got him down and away. Not a terribly quick stop, but it shouldn't hurt him too badly.
Did not finishes in 15 Daytona 500s. Continue to watch Kyle Petty working it out here, running right with Earnhardt. And as you watch Kyle, note that he's just behind that can number 33.
And Kyle has just taken the lead, passing Harry Gant. Of course, Gant yet to make a pit stop, but he'll have one coming up here very, very shortly.
Earnhardt in third. Bodine is in fourth. Daytona 500. Looks like it's going to be the typical Daytona 500, a barn burner to the finish. (119 of 200 laps complete). Kyle Petty maintains the lead over Dale Earnhardt. And as you look at the standings, Bodine third, Wallace fourth, Shepard fifth. Meanwhile, the leaders.
And Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt have hooked up and pulled away. And Neil, this is the biggest lead we've seen anyone have today. Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt, what, a second and a half or two ahead of the third place car, Jeff Bodine.
And it looked like they got caught back in traffic. They ran up on that lead pack, and they had so much momentum, they just drove by them and actually broke the draft. So looks like Kyle Petty is really pulling these two away from everybody else.
There you see the two leaders, and the pole sitter, Kyle Petty in front. Earnhardt right there. Here's Bodine looking up at the leader. Here's run him down. 2 laps back goes Davey Allison as Kyle Petty continues to mount this charge toward carrying on a family tradition in the great American race. Grandfather won it in '59. His dad won it 7 times. And Kyle driving the race of his life, staying just in front of Earnhardt here. Then you see the big interval. Back to Jeff Bodine in third, and Brent Bodine has come up to fourth. Ernie Irvin in fifth.
We're sitting there watching Kyle Petty lead this race. Felix Sabatis put up a bonus of $1 million if Kyle could win this race. And that could possibly happen as well as he's running.
Kyle Petty is pitting. Number 42 comes in.
Hey, this should not be a pit stop. Is this an unscheduled pit stop, Mike?
Ken, on their last stop, they got only 1 can of gas. You see the dry brake coupler on the front of the fuel can allows them to fuel these cars like they do jet planes without a great deal of spillage. And on the second gas can, it malfunctioned. So Alan Glowicki's team came running down with gas man and can to make sure Kyle got a full load of fuel this time. An unscheduled stop. They take the opportunity to change right side tires in less time than they can fuel it, but he's away in 12.3.
Now, this is a break for Kyle Petty. He had just made that green flag pit stop, but he stayed in the lead lap. So now he's back on the same sequence as everyone else as far as his pit stops are concerned. Only thing is, he's back in the pack, but that car's awfully fast. I think he can come back up through there.
Here's David Hobbs.
Richard Petty, your son there had a bit of a lucky break with that accident. What do you think about his day so far?
Well, he had a bad break because he shouldn't have been in that position. They had a little problem, and the pit had to make an extra pit stop. So, you know, everything's looking good so far.
Now dropping to the inside.
Ricky just dropped out of the way. He's many laps down. He said, I'm not going to mess up anybody that has any shot at winning this race.
There's Earnhardt on the outside around Unser. Unser in the middle, the white car.
Brave move. They're still 3 abreast as they come out through here. Brett Bodine, that's Bobby Hill down the inside. There is trouble.
Bobby Hill and Unser get together, sliding through the grass in the infield. Unser's car back on the track. He gets it back down again.
Kyle Petty is going to stop.
And Kyle Petty gets collected.
Kyle tried his best to get stopped. He kept watching that car come back up in front of him and thinking that he would stop, and he just right into it.
Ned, I'm not so sure they wasn't way in back, but what do? He did everything he possibly could and just nowhere to go.
The pole sitter, Kyle Petty, finds that Bobby Hillen car after it spun. He had whoaled that thing every way he could, ran out of room. The incident started in turn 4. It has ended all the way down through the tri-oval. Kyle clambering out.
Boy, I hate to see his car's coming back at pretty good speed. And we got these drivers out on the track with some liquid out here.
Well, Darren Cope was trying to keep Harry Gant a lap down. And
$1 million was a possibility.
He could have won this race.
Bobby Hillin trying to explain, I think.
I don't think Kyle likes what went on there. But he said, hey, it's over with now. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's don't even talk about it right now. Let's cool off.
You're exactly right. These guys are out there running as hard as they can run. What they don't need to do is even get together. It's hard to control your tempers.
Trying to keep them apart.
And that's surprising that Bobby Hillin, he's a real mild-mannered individual, but he's very upset too. So I don't know what, apparently he feels that the things went against him. Certainly it went against him because his car's down there crashed, but maybe that he had some help in getting crashed.
What you've got to keep in the back of your mind, no matter what happened on this racetrack, both of these guys had a position to win today, were positioned to possibly win the Daytona 500. It doesn't matter whose fault, whatever, or nobody's fault, still you're going to be upset. The best thing to do is calm down. I'm saying it, and I used to be the world's worst. So.
I think he's trying to get away. I don't think he wants to talk to anybody and find out what really happened here. And Bobby Hillin, a victim of this crash that happened long before Kyle Petty came on the scene. We'll try to find out what was said between those two. Take a look at what happened here. This is where it all began.
Okay, the light green car of Hillin's down on the inside, and there's Al Unser Jr. went up and clipped Dale Earnhardt and then back down into Hillin, and there they crash together, slide across the grassed area, and then Hillin goes back up onto the racetrack. As he comes off the grass, we'll see him.
Unser goes up first.
Well, Unser does go up first, and then here's Hillin going up. Unser gets back down on the grass, and here comes Kyle. He's trying to slow down, doesn't know which way to go. He's got the brakes locked, the car wouldn't cut, and slammed right into him.
And he had a man on the inside of him. He didn't have any place to go, but there was nothing that Hillin could do, not thing one.
Well, here we come again, Neil.
Coming off the fourth turn there, we see Unser move up. They clip. Unser comes back, gets Hillin with him when he goes. Boy, 30 car just barely missed him. You see Hillin's got the hood up over the windshield. He can't see where he's going. Unser comes out. He's actually driving the car. He's got a little bit of drivability. He comes across.
Can't wait to see that guy back here another time.
Here it is again. There's Bobby Hillin in the green-colored car, or aqua-colored car, down on the inside. But Unser and Earnhardt get together. That's what caused the whole thing. I don't quite understand why the verbiage between Kyle and Bobby Hillin, because, you know, they didn't really have that much to do with it. They were victims of circumstances.
I think it's just frustration, more so than being mad at one or the other. Kyle might have said something then that kind of got Hillin's attention, but I think it was just sheer frustration.
Here's Mike.
Fellas, the cars were sliding toward us on pit road as they came to a halt. Kyle Petty had his car locked down, and he was very nearly stopped of the accident. As Hillin's car slid through the grass, it was clear he was still driving it. He was fighting for control, got it turned around, and thought he was going straight when it spun back up, came up the racetrack. And I think instead of locking the car down, bringing it to a stop, he tried to swing it around again, and it came up right up into Kyle Petty's safety lane at that point. It's an accident that, if either driver had done anything differently, would have been avoided.
Well, there you see Kyle back in the Savettis hauler, and I think that's Ernie Irvin in there with him. Here's Bobby Hillin with some of his crew. We are at, trying to check our laps here.
160 laps have been complete. 40 to go. 100 miles to go in this race, and Ken, we're down from not long ago. We had 28 cars in the lead lap. Now we have 21.
I hope people see this, don't say, "Oh, well, these drivers." But let me tell you, if you do this for a living and you don't get excited when something happens, you don't need to be driving one of these things.
Bobby Hillin is making his way toward Chris Economaki right now. We'll try to give you more on this story. There you see the end of the Donlevy car after it had a great run here today. Fourth straight year that the pole sitter has failed to finish the Daytona 500. As it bites Kyle Petty today. Meanwhile, Rick Wilson is back out here, looking a little sore and sullen, but 44 still rolling. Here's Chris Economaki.
Oh, we're here, Bobby Hillin. You look like you're upset. What's the reason?
Well, I'm very upset. I'm trying to keep my composure. It's so hard in times like this. You know, we had a very strong car. I don't know what happened. They just all got sideways and came across in front of me, and you know, everybody got on it, and then I lost my brakes going through the grass. I had no idea where I was sliding, and Kyle jumped all over me thinking I let off the brakes, but that's just the way it is. We're all upset right now. We'll all get over it. I'm just thankful that we've got a great company like Holly Myers. They're supporting us 100%. This is their first time in racing, and we thought we had a good shot at it.
Bobby, we got up on the screen. I know it's very hard to see here with the sun shining on the screen. Maybe you can see exactly what happened. What were the words exchanged between you and Kyle?
Well, I just told him I had my foot on the brakes once I was sliding through the grass. There was nothing I could do, and we're just both upset right now. It's understandable. It's just hard to keep your composure when you think you have a chance to win the biggest race of the year. I just thought it was so close.
But Bobby, you know why it happened?
Say that again?
Why did it happen, the accident?
Well, there's only a few laps to go, and we're all racing for the win, and there's guys up there that haven't been up there that long and racing with these kind of cars, and, you know, everybody's fighting hard. It's just one of those things.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Let's go to David Hobbs now.
Well, I just had a word with Kyle Petty. I ducked pretty much, and he just said, don't even bother to wait. There must be a crowd of 200 reporters out here. He said, don't even bother to wait, because he said, I'm not going to say anything, because if I say it, I'm going to regret it like hell tomorrow morning, so you might as well just all go away, because I'm not saying anything right now. And you can understand why. Pole position and really looking strong today. What a shame.
$1 million, too, going down the window.
Big bonus for Kyle Petty from Felix Sabetis if he'd been able to pull it off. Not to be. All right, getting set for green. Next time by the Mrs. Gossage down there, the PR lady.
He wanted to come out and talk right now. He was still quite upset that he, in essence, was afraid he might say something that he would regret tomorrow. So his best way is just to not say anything at all. Okay? Sorry.
I agree with him.
I can't answer that one until he comes down.
So that's the story. There's no story as far as Kyle is concerned at this time. Come back tomorrow. And I think you're right, Ned. You're out there running 190 miles an hour. You got your life in your hands, and then something like this happens. Fortunately, everybody walked away. That's the best news of all.
Well, that is good news.